Hi everybody, I'm Christopher Takis from Skidmore, Owings & Merrill Architects, and I'm really delighted to be here tonight to share with you some of the planning objectives of this project that connect the dots between desire and implementation to achieve the goals that John has laid out very succinctly, and also to talk a little bit about some of our design aspirations for the project. And as John mentioned, I just want to reiterate that these are preliminary ideas. A lot of time has gone into thinking and rethinking how we can best achieve the goals that are laid out in this proposal. But by no means is this a fait accompli. What we're looking for tonight is the start of the conversation. And after we're done with the presentation, there are going to be a series of tables to the side where we're going to be able to answer any questions that you have. We have some exhibits, some of the plans that are shown in the presentation, so we can go over in some more detail about how we arrived at certain ideas. But the most important thing is to elicit your feedback. Now, taking a step back, why is this project really an important thing for the city of Hoboken and New Jersey Transit? Well, if you look at this map that we have on the screen, you can see basically in the orange area here, the commercial core of downtown and with its major retail streets that come to Observer Highway and meet up with the hub. And if I just go back for a second, there's a big blank spot. This blank spot is the bus station, the existing Path Shops building, which is unused right now, and all of the public space, all the macadam with the buses making their K-turns and such. This is essentially the front door into Hoboken Terminal today. It's an ad hoc space, I'll explain that a little bit more, that's been, I don't want to say neglected, but it's been underutilized over many, many years. And it's screaming for attention because of its critical location connecting downtown and the transit hub. So we've outlined it here in blue and red. We call this area Hudson Place. And if you look at the city map, this is actually one plot. It's called it's one block of two blocks. Hudson Place, block 229. It's about 1.78 acres, and with a little exception of some of the public realm improvements that would be part of the public right-of-way, the vast majority of the improvements that I'm going to talk about tonight are concentrated on this one block. As the mayor pointed out, that's something like 3 or 5% of the total vast land area that New Jersey Transit owns in Hoboken, about 52 acres. Now, this area is really the fulcrum of where people meet transit and where the town meets the hub. This is a significant and extraordinary opportunity to create a gateway into the community and also a great new front door into what is, by no stretch of the imagination, one of the most important and robust intermodal transportation hubs in the United States. There are very few competitors that have 5 modes of transportation that convene and converge at one location where you can have seamless modal switches. But the public space hasn't really lived up to that great opportunity. And so this project is really about how does one receive the great streets of Hoboken as they come into the south. How do we bring people in a safe and attractive and uplifting way to cross into the transportation hub? How do we deal with buses? How do we create a great new integrated front door where it's an intuitive entrance where you can find your way easily between path or commuter rail or ferries. You're all residents of Hoboken. I'm sure you've had quite a difficult time trying to explain to visitors where do you actually go to get into the terminal, because it's really not intuitive. So this big asterisk you see here is about creating a new front door, and I'll show you what that means. And it's also about leveraging the potential of the site and its connectivity to the waterfront and to the great open spaces that the community has built over the years. The Great Greenway up along Sinatra Drive, Pier A Park, Warrington Plaza, which is on its way to becoming the next great new space in Hoboken, and then ultimately a series of other open spaces which will afford super access to the waterfront. Reconstruction of the Mail Pier and the Long Pier you see here in green, and then connecting down through the light rail area and the parkland along that southern spine and ultimately connecting across the Long Slip Canal to the Newport area of Jersey City. This is a critical link in the Hudson River Waterfront Greenway, and the Hoboken Terminal is really supposed to be a robust experience that's on that link. The other thing I want to just mention before I go forward is this blue circle that we have here at the end of River Street. Okay? Because this project is about the bus station, it's about the adjoining commercial building, but for me, most importantly, it's about all the spaces in between that make this an integrated user experience. And that green spot that you see here is going to be another extraordinary public space that terminates the access of River Street and provides commuters access to the PATH station, the bus station, and into some really interesting retail opportunities. This is the conceptual plan that we've developed that starts to realize the goals that I just talked about in terms of planning. And you can see here, I'm just going to kind of walk you through it so that you understand what the goal is. First of all, this is the rail shed, okay? So if you go directly outside through, beyond that little food court area, to the little door where the path stairs down, that's the historic edge of the rail terminal, okay? That's this line here. So if you were to come straight out here, you'd be in the outdoors today. What we want to do is we want to take this area and we want to build out onto rail platform number 1, make it a double-sided platform. And we want to take all the buses and we want to bring them up against that edge. We will create 7 new sawtooth berths for the buses to come in, and that will provide then boarding and deboarding platforms for the buses that have immediate adjacency to the rail station and also to a new core that will take you down into the PATH station below. This is a proposed staircase, escalators, and elevator. It'll also allow you then to walk down this platform and join the head of tracks, which is this zone right here, adjacent to the waiting room, where you'll find the new front door, which is proposed to be in the location of the food court, which actually occupies the volume of the YMCA building, which is the block that sticks out into the plaza, separating the bus station from Warrington Plaza. That building was built in like 1932 or 1935 as a place for the conductors to spend the night during the long haul. It's empty right now. That space on the above-grade floors can be reused for New Jersey Transit offices, but the ground floor can be opened up so that we let sunlight through this area, so that the end of the head of the tracks actually terminates in a place that's a portal into the community and has a central point of information and perhaps ticketing for the various modes. We're also proposing to enlarge and to make a more direct shot down through a hole in the floor that will replace the serpentine entrance into the PATH station. That will vastly improve accessibility. Hopefully we'll be able to provide some escalators and an elevator inside the building. And it'll also really mitigate the congestion that we have here in the morning during the rush when I'm trying to get from the New Jersey Transit train to PATH. Just trying to weed your way through that little knuckle down there is really tough because people are going in all directions. Once the ferry terminal opens up with the new ferries, we know that there's going to be even more concentrated congestion there of passenger flows. So what we want to do is try to align things better so that there's a much cleaner and clearer connection between the different modes. So that little place, which is shown pointing over here, but in plan, it's really this node right here. So this would be a staircase and escalators, and then this would be the great new front door that would take the place of the food court, with doors that open right up onto this plaza, Warrington Plaza on your right, and Hudson Place and the street on your left. Now, just to step back, because the buses is really the most important part of what kind of configures this space. The idea is that buses would now come in and out of Observer Highway, and they kind of come right onto the property. They snake in between the little opening between the PATH Shops building and the existing rail shed. And as you know, they come in, they do their turnaround operations here, which is very difficult, I think, for the drivers to do, but more importantly, it's very dangerous for pedestrians that are trying to come across. What we wanted to do was to eliminate all of those vehicle-pedestrian conflicts altogether. and do it in a way that really provides a much enhanced service for bus commuters. So by bringing buses in, we're going to create a one-way loop where the buses that want to berth will come in and pull into the dock, where they'll be able to pick up passengers and let passengers off. They'll be able to pull out directly behind a parked bus, and then they'll come up to the entrance where they'll wait at a traffic signal. Traffic signal changes, crosswalk blocks people from walking, and then they'll actually turn left onto Hudson Place. So what this does is it creates a one-way loop. Now obviously there are a lot of issues that we need to work out with the community and with the city to make sure that this meets everybody's goals and mitigates perceived issues of traffic movements on the street. But we think that this is actually a really strong concept. And in fact, we think that with a few small changes to directionality of some of the streets, the block between Hudson and River, for example, if that were to become two-way, that would enable us to do this one-way loop. And that would actually mitigate a lot of the traffic that we have today downtown in these few blocks areas. So this is something that we really would love to work out further with all of your help. The other thing that's a great benefit of this is that we've provided for an area to the left of this double-loaded bus zone where the buses can come in and basically park their vehicle. So all the staging that would happen would be basically off-street. You wouldn't see the buses at all once you're outside of this bus platform area. And the bus zone would be separated from the exterior public space by a new wall, which is this black line here, which thickens out into a space, which is what you see in red. This space is envisioned as a kind of indoor-outdoor gourmet market, which would have big glass panels that open up to this, to the roof, becoming completely open to the outdoors when the weather is good, providing a really significant opportunity, about 6,500 square feet of retail space, which could be local farmers market, or it could be a little higher end prepared foods, similar to what we have in the food court today, but I think have maybe raised the bar a little bit. And again, the scheme would provide a really attractive facade where you don't have one today, you would have one. I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. The other thing about the site plan is how we create between this retail zone and the footprint of the new commercial office building, which replaces the Path Shops building, we create a negative space. And this is the new plaza space that I was suggesting when we were looking at the planning diagram. This is centered on the two access portals that take you down into the Path terminal. And we see this as a mix of hardscape and some trees and some softscape area, a lot of benches and perhaps some fountains. A really extraordinary place for people to sit, for people to come when they're not even coming to use transportation. Double-sided retail, so that it would be animated, lots of eyes on the street. A really great place, an urban plaza. We know that Hoboken doesn't have a lot of open space, and the space that you do have is well cared for and it suits its neighborhood goals. But South Hoboken, especially along this edge, has very little except for the waterfront. So what we wanted to do was to create something that was truly a significant space. The zone here between the red is a little bit bigger than the size of the ice skating rink at Rockefeller Plaza, just to give you a sense. It's a pretty big space. Now, the building that is to the left here is envisioned as having a two-sided core, a lobby space that comes out onto Hudson Place, and then a secondary entrance that comes in off of a pedestrian zone that runs along that new facade. This is about a 20-foot wide zone that connects you back to Observer Highway and to hopefully future development that heads westward that way. A great welcoming entrance in terms of open space that brings you down into this plaza. And the building is organized so that it has a bike station and a security guard. Again, for more eyes on the street, more activity to make sure that this is a safe, welcoming way to enter into